Here's a number that should stop you in your tracks. Out of every 100 people who retire in America, only 3 of them have $1 million or more in their retirement accounts. According to the Federal Reserve's Survey of Consumer Finances, just 3.2% of retirees cross that million-dollar line. And yet, survey after survey tells us that Americans believe they need about $1,500,000 to retire comfortably. So nearly everybody agrees on the destination, but almost nobody actually arrives. The median retirement savings for households between 65 and 74 years old is $200,000. And for those 75 and older, it drops even further to just $130,000. That means half of all retirees in that age group have less than $130,000 to fund the rest of their life. And here's where it gets even more uncomfortable. A lot of people assume Social Security will cover the gap. It won't. The average Social Security benefit in 2026 is about $2,071 per month. That's roughly $24,850 a year. Try living on that in any major city in America. You can't. It barely covers rent in most places, let alone food, healthcare, transportation, and everything else. And it gets worse. The Social Security Trust Fund is projected to become insolvent by 2033. If Congress doesn't act, benefits could be cut by as much as 23%. So the safety net most people are banking on is shrinking. That means your personal savings aren't just important, they're everything. So what's going on? Why is the gap between what people want and what people actually save so enormous? It's not one thing. It's a system of traps that most people walk straight into without even realizing it. Trap number 1 is income itself. This might sound obvious, but the data makes it brutal. High-income households have an average of $769,000 saved for retirement, but middle-income households have just $79,500. And here's the problem. The median household income in America is around $83,700 a year. That sounds like a decent number on paper. But after taxes, housing, food, insurance, transportation, and childcare, there's barely enough left over to invest aggressively. Trap number 2 is education, and not the kind you're thinking. College graduates have a median retirement savings of $141,700. People who finished high school but didn't go to college sit at just $44,000. That's 3 times less. And this isn't about intelligence, it's about access. Access to employers with strong 401k matches, access to financial knowledge earlier in life, access to networks that normalize investing instead of just surviving. Trap number 3 might be the most dangerous because it's invisible. Lifestyle creep. Every time you get a raise, your spending rises right alongside it. New car, bigger apartment, better restaurants, subscription upgrades. You earn more, but save the same or less. And it happens so gradually that you never notice. Until you're 55, checking your retirement account and realizing you're behind by decades. Trap number 4 is simply not starting early enough. Fidelity Investments tracks what they call 401k millionaires, people who have crossed $1 million inside their 401k alone. As of the latest data, roughly 654,000 people at Fidelity have reached that mark, a record high. But here's the key detail. It took them an average of 26 to 27 years of consistent contributions to get there. That means if you didn't start in your mid-20s, you're already playing catch-up. And most people don't start seriously saving until their 40s. Now, let's talk about what actually separates the 3% from the other 97%. It isn't a giant salary. It isn't luck. It isn't crypto or some hot stock pick. The 3% share three boring, unsexy habits. First, they started early. Even small amounts in their 20s turned into serious money by their 60s because compound interest had 30 or 40 years to work. Second, they contributed consistently. They didn't stop investing when the market dipped. They didn't cash out their 401k when they switched jobs. And by the way, 1 in 3 Americans actually cash out their 401k when they leave a job. That single decision destroys decades of growth. You take the penalty, you pay the taxes, and worst of all, you kill the compounding that was silently working in your favor. A $50,000 cash out at age 35 doesn't just cost you $50,000. After taxes and penalties, you walk away with maybe $32,000. But that $50,000 left untouched could have grown to over $400,000 by retirement. That's the real price of cashing out. Third, the 3% kept their lifestyle below their income. They weren't the flashiest earners on the block. They drove modest cars. They lived in reasonable homes. And they quietly stacked wealth while everybody around them was stacking monthly payments. Homeownership matters here too. Homeowners have an average of $303,000 in retirement accounts, more than 2.5 times what renters have. Owning a home isn't just about building equity in the property. It often signals a broader pattern of long-term financial behavior: saving, planning, delaying gratification. And there's one more thing the data reveals that most people overlook. About 42% of full-time working Americans don't even have access to an employer-sponsored retirement plan. No 401k, no match, no automatic payroll deduction nudging them to save. And among those who do have access, nearly half say they probably wouldn't save for retirement at all without it. So millions of people aren't failing because they lack discipline. They're failing because the system never gave them the on-ramp in the first place. If that's you, it means you have to build your own. An IRA, a Roth IRA, a brokerage account, anything that gets your money working while you sleep. So if you're watching this and you're behind, here's the honest truth. You might not hit $1 million. And that's okay. The goal isn't some perfect number on a screen. The goal is to close the gap between where you are and where you could be. If you're at $0 right now, get to $10,000. If you're at $50,000, push for $150,000. Every dollar you move from spending into investing changes your trajectory. The math is undefeated. But you have to start now. Because the biggest advantage in building wealth isn't income, education, or even discipline. It's time. And every day you wait, you lose the one resource you can never get back. If this is the wake-up call you needed, subscribe to this channel. Frankie Finance exists to help you see the game for what it really is and to give you the tools to win it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.